My name is Dustan Louque, Dut, Putty, King Dut. I make music to have a place in the world, make sense of the world. First time I ever had that burning desire to play music was in college. There was a guy playing piano in the hotel lobby, and I sat there and listened to him, and I was like, man, I want to learn how to do this. I imagine being alone in a room and being able to meditate or whatever you want to call it, just lose yourself in something. It was like, wow, I can have a craft or something to work on by myself. And that's what I did. During college, I discovered acoustic guitar, and then I discovered a singing voice, and then it was in New York when I went to acting school. And at night, I was working with my 4-track and guitar and my Rhodes keyboard, and that's when it all started to click. I started with classical music. You know, I've gotten into guitar over the years, and it's the whole Brooklyn scene that I'm involved in has influenced me. But there's always Louisiana and that soul, that really, really rooted Mississippi River song. I never have to try to be Louisiana because it's there. I just forget about it. I'm from a small town called Grand Point, Louisiana. It's a small tobacco town, Cajun folks. The culture is so in me, like the work ethic. 200 yards and not looking down that road, because if you do, you won't be able to even think you could accomplish it in the heat. But you do it and you do it and you do it, and you put one foot in front of the other. They weren't men of many words, which is probably something I'm dealing with as a musician. Donovan Guidry grew up with the same experiences of the language dying, recipes kind of fading away, oil fields just kind of taking over. Those were the themes that we were saying so long to. You know, we knew that we'd get to this place where we are now, you know? We kind of like made a collage of all these ideas. We want to extract some New Orleans rhythms, some of the groove stuff from here. So that was the parameters we set for so long. We started our own label at the time, Nulify Records, and Atlantic Records comes along and says, we'll put it out for you with your imprint, which is exactly what we were looking for. They gave us a nice chunk of money for the record, a nice chunk of money for tour support. And I never once thought through the whole so long process of me being on stage and having to reproduce this music and playing it live. I never thought about it. It's a cultural record. I'm celebrating this culture that's dying, that's becoming American, and all of a sudden, this thing is being promoted and marketed. It just didn't feel right. I felt like I was selling out. I was like doing everything that I was singing against. I wasn't able to make music anymore because I was on the road so much, and it really wasn't the path I wanted. I didn't show up to a few shows, like back to back to back, I think. And it's pretty much all it took, you know? It just ended. For long I didn't have a manager or a label, or many friends, for that matter. Just everybody kind of cleared away, you know? And I was left alone, just by myself, and yeah, man. So it was a long road back. I worked in my dad's machine shop for a little while because I just wanted to craft. I wanted to just like zone out and do something, and man, everything was music. The hammering on pipe, the rhythm of the machines. It sucked because it was like, ah! I couldn't escape it. It was like, and songs would happen, and then next thing you know, I'm on my phone and recording ideas, and it's like, man, you got to do this. I've been hiding out the last 7 years or whatever, but I've been really, really working hard at what I do and opening myself up. So I have all these experiences add up to someone really vulnerable, because that's what I felt like was my strength. The comfort in allowing yourself to be vulnerable only comes through years of the peaks and valleys, and mostly valleys. You know, mostly you're working your way back up to the peak. For music, I would just like to just be a different voice out there. That's something that just will help people to maybe help them, lead them on a path like certain artists did for me back in the day. You know, living in a cane field and listening to the Smiths or Depeche Mode or whatever it was at that, you know, in those formative years that made you think about the world differently and even helped you to see your own little small town differently. What's next? Finding my path, man, and I'm slowly finding it. But it's just finding ways to sustain it and to continue. I mean, there's always another record.